Publishing a book is a process that goes far beyond editing and proofreading. There is one particular step that most people overlook, and yet it is crucial for providing a smooth and enjoyable reading experience. And it is typesetting. Typesetting isn't just about placing text on pages of a certain size and adding a few decorative elements. That's not what typesetting is. Typeset is a long, exhausting process in which you ensure the book is structured according to standard conventions, that the text has the correct spacing between words and lines, the right indentation, and the proper font and formatting. And all of this to make sure the reader isn't distracted. However, typesetting has often been gatekept. Those who share information about it usually hide most of it behind books, masterclasses, or other paid services. And that's perfectly fine if your goal is to market your knowledge. However, I'm your fairy godmother of publishing who, instead of a magic wand, has a pair of yellow socks and instead of wings, has a creepy addiction to coffee. And for that reason, today I bring you the full guide to typesetting rules. And for those who are new here, my name is Raquel Yellow Socks and I have over 6 years of experience in publishing. A quick reminder, this guide was created with the aim of being broadly applicable to publishing practices across European countries. However, there will always be slight variations from country to country, and it is very likely that most of what I'm about to share is also applicable in countries outside Europe, such as United States and Canada. And with that said, always make sure you do your own digging based on the market you are targeting. To understand the rules of typesetting, first you need to understand something that is very important, which is the structure of a book. And traditionally, most books are divided into 3 main sections. First, the front matter, which is everything that comes before the main text. Then the body, which is the main text itself. And then the back matter, which is supplementary content such as acknowledgements, index, bibliography, or appendices that you will find after the main text of the book, which means at the end of the book. And knowing this standard structure helps you understand how professional typeset really works. The front matter or the opening pages. The front matter consists of the material found between the front cover and the beginning of the main text. These pages are usually unnumbered or else use Roman numerals. They may include some or all of the following. A flyleaf. A blank page at the start of the book, acting as protection for the printed pages. Blurbs or accolades. Praise, reviews, endorsements from reliable sources, sometimes placed here if they do not fit on the cover. Half title page, also known as bastard title. A simple page with only the book's title set in plain type. A title page. A page that contains the full title, subtitle, author, translator, and publisher. A frontispiece. An illustration or decorative element on the verso opposite the title page. The copyright page, also known as colophon, printed on the verso of the title page, which includes copyright details, credits, ISBN, typefaces, publisher, and printer details. A dedication page, where the author dedicates the book to a person or group. A table of contents, a list of chapters or sections and their page numbers common in non-fiction and anthologies. An epigraph, a quotation or excerpt hinting at the theme of the book. a preface written by the author explaining the origin or purpose of the work, a foreword written by someone other than the author providing context or endorsement, the main text or the body. This is the core of the book and the most important part of typesetting, and the body usually consists of, in fiction, prologue, a short introductory scene or context before the main narrative, chapters, the main division of the text, epilogue, a concluding section often set after the main events, afterword, additional closing notes by the author or another person, postscript, a very brief final comment after the end of the text. In non-fiction, introduction, background material that prepares the reader for the subject, chapters, the main divisions of the text, conclusion, a summary of key ideas, and also afterward, additional closing notes by the author or another person, and postscript, a very brief final comment after the end of the text. Back matter, or also known end matter. The back matter contains supplementary or reference materials and may include acknowledgements, thanks to those who contributed to the work, about the author, a short biography of the author, permissions, credits for reproduced materials, for example, lyrics, excerpts, or images, discussion questions, prompts for book clubs or classroom use, appendix or addendum, supporting or updated information common in non-fiction, chronology or timeline, a sequence of events useful in history or biography, endnotes, detailed notes keyed to the text, glossary, definitions of specialized, invented or foreign terms, index, an alphabetical list of terms with page references, bibliography or reference list, a formal list of the works cited, and bonus material, extras such as preview of the next book. But the most important rules of typesetting are inside the main text, which means the body, and they are divided in paragraphs and alignment, font and spacing, and special characters and punctuation. Paragraphs and alignment. Justification. The body text should always be justified except for special cases such as block quotations. Indentation. The first line of each paragraph should be indented, except for the very first paragraph of each chapter, which should start flush left. Spacing. Paragraph spacing must be consistent. Do not add extra space between paragraphs. The spacing should remain equal to the line spacing. Word stacking. Avoid the same word appearing one above the other in consecutive lines, as this creates visual distraction. Widows. A widow is the last line of a paragraph left stranded at the top of a page. You need to avoid this. Orphans. An orphan is the first line of a paragraph left stranded at the bottom of a page, and it should always be avoided as much as possible. Also, avoid single word lines at the end of paragraphs, as they look unbalanced and disrupt the reading flow. Font and spacing. Typeface. Always use serif fonts for body text, as they are easier to read in print. And here are some fonts that I recommend. Palatino Linotype, which is my preferred choice. It's an amazing font and it's visually very pleasant. Garamond, which is another very popular choice nowadays. Cambria, Bookman Old Style, and also Baskerville. Now, the font size that you should use for your book is usually between 11 and 12. A safe choice is 11 or 11.5. Never go above or below these numbers, because if your font is too small, the reader will struggle, and if the font is too big, it's just very unpleasant to read the book. Then pay attention to the line spacing or leading. Adjust line spacing carefully, because it can't be too loose or too tight, or the reader won't have a pleasant experience, or it won't be able to understand what's written there. For example, for Palatino Linotype at size 11, I recommend a line spacing of 14 if you are using InDesign. And then you have word spacing. When it comes to word spacing, you need to adjust when it's necessary. If some lines show unusually large gaps or cramped text, fix this with manual hyphenation or by adjusting the word spacing in the Properties panel of the program that you're using. If you're using InDesign, you can adjust this on the tracking options in the Properties panel. Special characters and punctuation. First, we have the quotation marks. Always use curly quotation marks, never straight. And also, you should always use the right order for quotation marks. In the UK, for example, the convention is main quotes are single quotation marks. Then within those quotes, you should use double quotation marks. But remember, conventions vary by country. For example, when it comes to quotation marks, both Portugal and France use guillemets. They are the main quotation marks. And when it comes to dialogues, for example, you have Spain and Portugal, where they use the em dash instead of the quotation marks to mark their dialogues. And now you have to pay close attention to punctuation and side quotation marks. For example, in British English, punctuation marks such as commas and full stops are placed inside the quotation marks only if they are part of the quoted material. Otherwise, they remain outside. And now let's talk about other symbols. For example, we have the ellipses. always use the ellipsis character rather than typing 3 full stops. Another symbols that you have to pay close attention to are the dashes and how to use them. In English, of course, em dash is for interruptions or emphasis, while the en dash is for ranges or relationships, but never use two hyphens. Another rule that is applied to other symbols is the rule of reducing the size to about 50% of the font size, and this is applied only to special characters such as the copyright symbol, so they do not appear as oversized in the middle of your text. And that's all for the theoretical part of typesetting. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't want to make it too long or heavy, since I know it can be tricky to keep track of all this information in only one video. So for that reason, I have included a link in the description to a PDF of my typesetting guide, which also includes a copyright page template to help you along the way, standard book sizes across Europe, and other handy measurements. I didn't include them in this video because I thought it would be very hard for you to follow along. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. So I'll see you very soon. Bye!